What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I also want to talk about my top 5 favourite slasher films of all time. Now these have been
struggling around.
Even at last minute, just before I started this video, I've swapped one out for a different one. I was going to do a top 10, but I couldn't really, what's the words, find 10 that I genuinely love. And I've got this rule where if I don't own it, it's not going to go in the list, because I feel like if it's a favourite, it should be, I should own it for one. But anyway, I've picked 5 slasher films that I love, and yeah, we're going to kick this off right now, sir, right now. Number 5 is Prom Night from 1980. A really decent, surprised the hell out of me, a really decent slow burn slasher film that really basically succeeds with its suspense, and it's almost going at a crawl when it concerns pacing. And I just think it is a really decent movie with a antagonist that you kind of sympathize with. You don't justify what he's doing, but you sympathize with him and with their motive. You kind of sympathize with it, and yeah, it's just one of those great early slasher films that does the most with what it can do when it concerns its suspense and pacing. That's probably its strongest points for me, is it has great suspense and pacing. I love the characters as well. I think all the characters are quite interesting. I love the whole plot of the film is quite interesting. It's a bit different than your general slasher film. It's a case of these kids when they're younger, they're in this abandoned like building, and they're bullying this girl, and through their bullying, this girl falls out the window and she dies. And it moves on when they're like in high school, and they're all these kids that were involved in that incident are getting really creepy phone calls by someone, and it all culminates at the prom. Basically, the name, the film's called Prom Night. It all culminates at prom night, where this creepy killer that has been phoning these characters acts out his murderous ways, his slashing, I suppose. And it's a very interesting film with pitch perfect pacing, and just a really cool revelation at the end. That's why the revelation at the end, for me, that's why you kind of sympathize with the character, with the antagonist in that regard. So yeah, Prom Night, if you've not seen it, it's a definite worth a watch. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great early slasher film from 1980 that I think all of you should really check out. Number 4 is my favourite modern slasher film ever, pretty much, is Friday the 13th remake from 2009. I've spoken about this film on numerous occasions. I think it's woefully underrated. I think Derek Mears is the greatest, scariest Jason we've ever had on screen, period, in my opinion. Yeah, I just think even like the characters, there's some characters that are dislikable in this, but it makes it all the more fun to see them die and to see them be just destroyed by Jason. And like I said, Jason is scary in this. He's so imposing and scary that I just love it. They portray him as more of a kind of trapper, more of a smarter killer in this one, and that's what I just love about this Jason. Is he's not this derpy kind of just like he's not just a wall of meat. He kind of toys with his victims in this, and I just really enjoyed it. I didn't just really enjoy it, I loved it. Even the opening 20 minutes is one of the greatest most intense opening 20 minutes of any slasher film, maybe since Scream. It's just so well made. So I think it's exceptional, and it has this really cool plot thread where he's keeping the character prisoner because the character apparently looks like his mother. That is pretty much almost a little kind of nugget from Friday the 13th Part 2 that they've kind of elaborated and expanded on for this remake, and I really did like that part of the story. I thought it made sense, and yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. I thought it was fantastic. Got great kills in there. It's a really nasty kill with it, which concerns a screwdriver to the throat. Brutal stuff, man. Yeah, love this film. I think it's underrated, and I think it gave us the scariest Jason Voorhees we've ever had on screen. You know, whatever. Kill me in the comments. 3 is one of my favourite horror films of all time, and it obviously constitutes to a slasher as well, which is Candyman. Candyman is so affecting in its fear and its horror that it still, you know, gets under my skin to this day. I think it's such an affecting movie. I'm not gonna say Candyman 5 times in the mirror. Get fucked, no way. Not doing it. You know, that's the power of this film. Even though you know it's fiction, you're not gonna try fate. You're not gonna attempt it at all. But yeah, I love this movie. I think it's harrowing in its atmosphere. It's one of another film that's pitch perfect in pacing. I think the pacing's great. I like the lead character Helen. Her descent into madness in this film is engaging and engrossing, and kind of just you fear for the character in this, and that's what I love about this film, is that you immediately attach yourself to the main character and really care about, you know, her plight with the Candyman. And I think it's just a great narrative throughout the whole film. The ending came out of nowhere for me when I first saw this as a kid, and it just like blew my mind. Like, it was just, you know, crazy good. And yeah, I still think it stands up as one of the greatest horror films ever made, and it's my number 3 of my favourite slashers of all time. Some people wouldn't really constitute this as a slasher, but I do think it meets the criteria, you know, to be a slasher movie. It has a lot of slashing, and yeah, it's really good. The lore of the Candyman is interesting and bleak and dark all at the same time, and it kind of takes you down this rabbit hole that you want to see more of what's going on with this character, and you want to see Helen kind of solve the whole mystery of it. But it kind of ends up sending her insane as well. What a great film this is, in my opinion. So yeah, my number 3 is Candyman. Number 2 is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. This is my favourite Nightmare on Elm Street film. I think it's the best of the bunch. Some people would have put the first one on here, but for me, I just think it's something about Part 3 where you have Nancy returning and showing these children that they have the power to fight back in their dreams. I just think it's a great concept for a film, and a great concept for a nightmare film in particular. Yeah, I think it's got some of the most memorable kills in this one. It's so quotable as well, you know, welcome to prime time, bitch, and stuff like that. It's got some great moments in this. Some really like kind of disturbing moments as well, where he's using one of the characters as a puppet with his veins, and he throws him off the clock tower or whatever it was, the bell tower, whatever it was. But yeah, I just think this film is heads and shoulders above most of the other films, if not all the films in the franchise. I think it's a prime example of how you can make an exceptional sequel to a slasher film. And yeah, it's my number 2. My number 1 is cliche as all fuck. It's predictable. It's on every number 1 slasher, you know, slasher lists. So yeah, it's Halloween, isn't it? It's Halloween from 1978. John Carpenter's absolute classic. You know, Michael Myers is the slasher icon in nearly everybody's eyes, and just pure evil out there to just murder and just commit horrific kills. And what makes this film really powerful to me is those quiet moments where the camera's focused on something else, but in the background you see him in the background, and he's there, and he's stalking. He's there. He's there somewhere, and even in shots where he's not there, you're looking in the background.
Okay, where's Michael? Where is he? He's about. I know he's about.
But as well, the one thing that makes this also great is it's not really that violent in terms of graphic content. It's just got buckets of atmosphere, and just really succeeds with suspense and pacing. And I think that's what makes this film a success, is that you're kind of always on the lookout for Michael, and it has that kind of slow burn of a film that really wants you to soak in the atmosphere. And I think this is just it's just fantastic when it comes to popularizing the slasher genre. And I think it really solidifies what we look for in the slasher movie, as it has all the tropes, it has all the criteria, and that opening 10 minutes is like harrowing when young Michael kills his sister. Like, that is, what a way to open a film in 1978. Like, it's just so harrowing. I saw this film rather recently, about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago, I saw it at a cinema in London called Prince Charles Cinema. Me and my friends, from me and a couple of friends, we saw it. They were screening it on Halloween, and it was a blast, man. It was such fun. Everyone's there to see Halloween, the original, and they were all fans and stuff like that. It was great. But yeah, Halloween 1978, John Carpenter's masterpiece, is my number one. Let me know your top 5 slasher movies of all time. Let me know your top 5 least favourite slasher movies of all time. And as always, hit that subscribe button to see more from me, and hit the like button to, just spread my video around in the world, because that's what happens. Anyway, if you would excuse me, I've got some slashing to do. What? No! Help me!